Alright, we're back. We're not in the dirt today. Today I just wanted to share some of the thimbles and sewing related items I've found hunting St. Augustine, Florida. Some of these sites date back to the early 1600s, 1830s, and some of the items here are actually up into the 1950s, like the zippers I have over here, over there. I've got some zippers, and they date up into the 1950s and as far back as the 1800s as well. So I've added those into the little collection of sewing related items as well. So I just want to go over some of the sewing related items here, and just like I said, share them with you and do a little video on them. All right. So let me move the camera over here a little bit, because I'll probably need to refer to the book here a few times. Excuse me. I guess I'll start with some of my older items, and that would be my oldest thimble would be the Nuremberg Thimbles, and some of these date back to the Nuremberg Thimbles date as far back as 1503 to 1578. In Kathleen Deegan's book over here, right here, you'll see a Nuremberg thimble, and this Nuremberg thimble in the book is believed to be from 1550s, and I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but at the base of the thimble you can see the Maltese crosses going around the base, and I've recovered almost an identical thimble. Not sure if you can see mine right here, but the thimble has the Maltese crosses going around the base as well. And I'll throw a better picture in there to share it with you once I produce this video. But that's a Nuremberg thimble, and likely dates to the 1500s, up to about 1578 would be the latest period. So that's likely my oldest thimble right there. And the Nuremberg thimbles, which most of these are Nuremberg thimbles. The brass thimbles like this were likely from Holland. This is a brass thimble. So the most of the brass thimbles, they're one of the rarer ones to find on Spanish colonial sites, and they're likely from Holland as well, the 1700s period. So again, most of these thimbles here were from 1600s to 1830s period sites. These ones right here, the deep drawn thimbles, those as well would likely date to the 1600s. And the thimbles, in order to, back in the older times before they were machine made, they would have this spiraling pattern, like a spiraling divot pattern going around the thimble, and that was produced by a tool like this, where they would just flatten out the thimble, the sheet, and roll the design around the thimble. So you can tell some of the older ones by the spiraling circular divots that go around them. So those are a couple earlier 1500s and 1600s thimbles right here. These ones here likely date from the I'd say the late 1600s up through the 1700s period on these ones here. This thimble right here, in the later 1700s, children were expected to learn to do sewing and needlework, and so you find a lot of the, like right here, you'll find a lot of the children's thimbles, and this right here is a child's thimble, tiny Nuremberg children's thimble, and likely dates, it would be from Germany, but likely dates up into the 1700s. And that's a super tiny little thimble, pretty nice one. So those are some of my my earlier thimbles right here. We've got some of the open top thimbles like this. It was another design that they would use with just the open top on the thimbles. But again, most of these thimbles here will date from the 1600s to about 1830s period. Over here, I've got a few silver thimbles that I recovered. I've got two of the open top thimbles. This would have been just the thimble band, one of the band thimbles, and it would have been a sheet of silver. which was rolled out. Oh, let me get this light a little better for you. There we go, a little better light. A rolled silver thimble, and that would have been one of the open top thimbles. Nice silver one there, probably 1700s. Again, another nice silver thimble here. Two silver thimbles there, and those would likely date to the 1700s. This one possibly a little later, mid 1700s and up into the 1800s, based on the design and the way it was created. But this one here is likely a little bit older, probably 1700s. And those are three silver thimbles right there. On a later period property, this property was actually a 1900s property, but the case likely dates into the 1800s. But this is a sterling silver thimble case, a really fancy thimble holder. You can see it would have likely hung on a necklace. So this would have been a thimble holder, a thimble case, necklace case. And inside on the same property, we found a 14 karat gold thimble. And this thimble is actually monogrammed. It says Mary, October 7th, 1910 is what it appears to be. You can see the 9 and the 1 for 1901 something. So 19 teens would be the date period of that. So just after the turn of the century, 1900s. So, but that's a 14 karat gold thimble, a little over 100 years old. So that was found on the same property, not inside the case, but it was found on the same property. And you can see the hallmarks on the seat of the silver thimble holder right there. Not sure if that's showing up for you. So that's a really nice early silver thimble holder with a 14 karat gold thimble. So that's a couple of my thimbles right there. Just wanted to share the thimbles with you, and we'll move on to something else. These right here are needle cases, and I've found 3 of the needle cases already throughout St. Augustine area. And these likely date to the late 1600s to mid 1700s period. You can see this one here with a really fancy honeycomb design, almost like the top of the thimbles. It's got kind of a fancy design going around it. Those are a couple of the needle cases or sewing kits that were likely carried by some of the soldiers, Spanish soldiers, and could be even Rev War period. A couple of them. It's hard to tell. Over here we have some loom weights. These were loom weights used on the looms for weaving and creating fabric, yarn, thread, things like that. Several different styles of the loom weights. And those are some large loom weights. They would have been again used for creating yarn, thread, rope, whatnot on the looms, and fabric and stuff like that. Over here we have, and a lot of people find these thimbles are found quite often too. These are hem weights, and hem weights were used to weigh down. They would be sewn into the garments like jackets, dresses, things like that, to keep the ladies' dresses from blowing up in the breeze there. So those are hem weights. Couple hem weights that I've recovered. This is this little piece right here, and let me see if I can find it in the book here for you and show you a little picture of what it was. This is a sheath to a needle case. Yeah, here we go. This is just a little sheath to a needle case. A lot of people mis-ID these as let's see if I can get that to, gotta darken it out on you to be able to see it. A lot of people mis-ID these as like sword scabbard tips, but as you see right there, it's identical. It's actually a copper alloy pin sheath, the tip to a pin sheath. So that's sewing related as well. A little pin sheath right there. Get my light on, I can show you better. So that's the tip to probably a leather sewing sheath, pin sheath. Right here, this pair of scissors right here is pretty cool. I like these because back here, let me go back in the book here to scissors. Let's see, we got some iron scissors right here, and here we go. Let me get the camera over here for you. If you look right here, the pair of scissors in the book right here, brass embroidery scissors, first half of the 18th century, so that'd be early 1700s. And if you look at the design on the scissors, you got the little X's right there, like an X, crosshatch marks and X's. And you look at my scissors right here, they've got the identical pattern as the one in the book. That's an identical pair of scissors, which I recovered. In the book, they've got two halves. I've got one arm. But that would be from the early 18th century, 1700s, early 1700s. Embroidery scissors, and I thought that was really cool that I found the exact same pair that's in the city archaeologist book right there. So that's a pair of early 1700s embroidery scissors. Right here, this is one of my favorite finds, favorite sewing related finds right here, and this is a sterling silver, well, not sterling, but a silver bodkin, solid silver bodkin. Recovered off of one of my early Spanish sites. See that right there? But yeah, silver bodkin, and bodkins would have been used to sew up the ladies' dresses, like the not thread, but ribbon would have went through the back side of the needle right here, long ribbon, and then they would have sewed up the lady's dress. And these would have been worn in the, when not in use, a lot of times the ladies would wear these in their hair. I've actually in one of my books read a story, kind of related, about a woman who was found with a bodkin. It wasn't a silver bodkin, but just a normal like copper or brass bodkin in her hair. And they knew she wasn't of wealth enough to own a bodkin, so she was actually sentenced to death and hung just for having a bodkin in her hair, because they knew she had stolen it. So having a silver bodkin had to be somebody pretty important. So, but that's a solid silver bodkin for sewing up dresses and things like that. This right here, what we believe this is a it's got the hallmarks on it, and they appear to be Gorham hallmarks, which would be 1800s. But what we believe this is a like a leather workers or sail workers would use them, and it would be used to assist pushing the leather twine or the sail twine through the holes. So it's like a sewing related tool for assisting in pushing the thick twine through the holes of the leather or burlap and stuff like that. And that's a solid silver sewing tool, sewing related tool. And it does have somebody's initials on the back right here. Actually clean that up a little bit. It says MAL. I'm not sure if that's showing up for you, but it's got a MAL on the back side of it right there, and the hallmarks on the front. So that's a silver sewing related tool there. The next thing, and they're not as not as fun to find. Most people usually toss them out when they find them. Usually I keep everything, and that would be right here, the my zipper collection right here, and I've got several more zippers over here, but I just wanted to share a couple of them for you right here. And let's see, which ones are these right here? These are the let me see if I can get the names on these ones for you. Yeah, okay. The gripper zippers, and I'll go ahead and start from the top down right here. Let me start from the top. These zippers right here, the Talon Zippers, from the Talon Zipper Company. These top ones right here. The Talon Zipper Company and the Talon Zippers actually date as far back as 1893. So these could, and again, these were all found on early sites, and some of them do date up into the 1950s. But I like to collect them because you know, they're kind of unique. But the Talon Zippers, like these ones here, would date back to about 1893. So those could be, you know, late 1800s. The zipper was actually first invented by Elias Howe in 1851, and then, but it really didn't catch popularity until 1851 by Elias Howe, and then didn't actually catch popularity or start to be used more widely until it was reinvented by Whitcomb Judson in 1891. And then around 1830s, they really started to catch on and became pretty popular. The next set of zippers right here are from YKK, and you'll still see those kind of zippers with the YKK on them, but they're from a Japanese designer named Tado Yoshida, the Tado Yoshida Company, and they date to about 1934. And then you have the gripper zippers, the larger ones right here, and the gripper zippers are about 1950s. This zipper right here would have been one of the earlier zippers, somewhere between the period of 1851 up to about 1891. And if you look at this one here, it's quite unique. It's got the like the spring. You can see the spring zipper right there. And these would have been one of the earlier styles of boot zippers on probably mid 1800s to late 1800s pair of boots. And you don't often see zippers with that spring style. That's like an older style zipper. So that was pretty neat to find, probably off some, you know, Civil War soldiers' boots or something like that. Okay, so there's a few of my zippers, and I've got several others, different zippers that I've found. But again, zippers, you know, some of the zippers you find can, like this one here, like the spring zippers, could date as far back as the, you know, 1860s, 1850s, 60s, 70s, up to about 1890s. All right. But anyway, again, just wanted to share some of my sewing related objects, some of my sewing related finds. We got cut off on you there for some reason, but again, just wanted to share some of my sewing related finds and artifacts from St. Augustine, Florida, Northeast Florida. All right, guys, until the next adventure, next story, have a great day. Bye.